So in this video, I will tell you guys about all the different worlds in Mushoku Tensei, including how they were created and what happened to them. So the world of Mushoku Tensei that we see today was not always like this. There were many separate worlds and many different species that used to live on those worlds. Let me tell you from the beginning. It all started in the unrecordable times, when there existed a powerful entity that was the maker of worlds and was simply known as the god of creation. He felt he was slowly dying and would not last for eternity, so he tasked himself to create one last world before his time was up. However, he realized he did not have enough power left to build a stable world, and the new world that he had created was severely deformed and unbalanced. So he decided to create yet another world. It ended up as another distorted world. Nonetheless, he kept going until he finished making 6 worlds. And those worlds were named Dragon World, Demon World, Beast World, Ocean World, Sky World, and Human World, with the 7th Void World of Nothingness at the center. They were all distorted worlds and they would soon collapse on their own, so the creator stuck the 6 worlds together and he was finally able to achieve stability. In this manner, he established the 6-faced world where each world supported the balance of the others. Still not content, the creator decided to carefully manage the worlds until the inhabitants can settle and stabilize. With his remaining strength, he divided his body into 6 alter egos and descended onto their respective worlds. Soon after, as a result of their divine origins and diligent effort to make their world prosper, the egos came to be respected as gods by each world's inhabitants. In the Dragon World, it was called the Dragon God. In the Demon World, the Demon God. In the Beast World, the Beast God. In the Ocean World, the Ocean God. In the Sky World, the Sky God. In the Human World, the Human God. So at the creation of his new 6-sided world, the creator ceased to exist, and from him came the new gods that came to be known throughout the 6-faced world. So, the Dragon World is the world of dragons ruled by the Dragon God, where the sky and the land are reversed. It was inhabited by the dragon race who had enormous power. The dragon race were once primitive species who were not able to develop civilization due to their harsh environment and rogue dragons. But that soon changed after Human God lent the knowledge of the humans to the Dragon God. The dragon race also taught various things to the inhabitants of the other worlds that helped them to grow stronger. The Demon World is the world of demons ruled by the Demon God, and it is full of miasma and nauseous mist. It was inhabited by races with extraordinary physiques. Similar to the dragon race, the demon race were once primitive due to their harsh environment, where demonic beasts roamed and reliance on their extraordinary bodies. But the world soon changed into an orderly style after the Human God lent the knowledge of the humans to the Demon God. The Beast World was the world of beasts ruled by the Beast God, and it had extremely dense forests and mountains. It was inhabited by races with keen senses and powerful talons. The Beast race taught inhabitants of the other worlds how to capture and tame monsters and wild beasts. The Ocean World was a world of water ruled by the Ocean God. It was teeming with life and was inhabited by races with gills, fins, and scales. The Ocean race taught inhabitants of the other world how to purify water and the method of storing water. The Sky World was a world of rocks floating in the sky and was ruled by the Sky God. It was inhabited by a winged race who flew freely in the sky. And the Sky race taught inhabitants of the other worlds how to study and predict the weather. The Void World is a pure white world of nothingness, formed when the god of creation stuck together the 6 worlds in a die structure. It later served as the connection path for moving from one world to another, as it is in contact with all of the worlds. It is also the channel for summoning and teleport magic, and this pocket of space is where Hitogami, the fake human god, exists. Lastly, we have the Human World. So the Human World is a world of flatlands and prairies ruled by the Human God. it is inhabited by a race with weak bodies but brilliant minds. The human race taught inhabitants of the other worlds about the importance of reading, writing, communal living, social order, etc., and gave the light of civilization to the races as well. So you guys might be wondering that if all these separate worlds exist, then why does all these species also live on Earth? So during the first Dragon God's War, the Dragon God killed all the gods of these other worlds, and because of the eventual death of the gods of all those worlds, the human god rallied all the remaining survivors from the Beast World, Heaven World, Ocean World, and Demon World to a portal leading to the human world. So after the destruction of all those worlds, including the Dragon World, all the remaining survivors came to live in the human world, and there they settled on different continents. So in the present time, there are 5 continents in the human world, and they are the Central Continent, Demon Continent, Milis Continent, Begarit Continent, and Divine Continent. Let's start with the Central Continent. The Central Continent was previously part of a larger landmass known as the Great Continent, and at that time, the Demon Continent was also a part of it. However, this giant continent was split into the present-day Central and Demon continents by the end of the Second Great Human-Demon War due to a mana calamity, which was triggered by the dying Demon Dragon King Laplace. So after the war ended, the Central Continent and the Demon Continent were newly formed, and the Ringus Sea was formed in between them. The Central Continent has the Red Worm Mountains. Basically, the Red Worm Mountains is an enormous chain of mountains and hills that runs across and down the continent, separating the land into 3 parts: the North, the West, and the South, and all these regions have their own distinct geography. The name of these mountains originates from during the Laplace War, when Laplace released his dreaded worm dragons in the mountains to block the passage of humans. The mountain range starts from the northwest, where it is known as the Red Worm's upper jaw, and runs across the lands until it forks into 2 more ranges. One range runs across the landmass without much deviation all the way to the east, and this part has been known as the Crying Worm Mountain Ranges. So the northern region of Central Continent, referred to as the Northern Territories, is a cold region which lies east to the Red Worm's upper jaw and Crying Worm Mountain Ranges, which run horizontally across the continent. The region receives heavy snowfall and the soil is infertile for crops, but large expanses of forests are also present there. The majority of the nations in this region are poor and weak, and often have skirmishes over resources. Many strong monsters appear in this region, which attracts warriors in training and veteran adventurers who try to take down those monsters. There are some very important locations in this northern region, such as the Kingdom of Bihiril, which is a fairly strong kingdom in the northeastern edge of the continent, surrounded by mountains and forests, and it is the place where the survivors of the Spurred race are currently hiding. Ogre Island, where the Ogre God resides along with his Ogre tribe, is also in this region. Sword Sanctum is present in the northwestern edge of the continent that is covered in snow all year round. It is the headquarters of the Sword God-style school of swordsmanship, which attracts a number of young fighters with the hopes of learning under the Sword God himself. The western region of the Central Continent is a prosperous region that lies between the Red Worm's upper jaw and the lower jaw mountain range. It is abundant with rivers and fertile plains, but not many large forests are found. Monsters that appear in this region are fairly weak, and Knights of the Kingdom carry out exterminations to keep the common folk safe, which is one of the reasons as to why it is not a popular place for adventurers despite the riches of the lands. The Kingdom of Asura is present in this region. It is a kingdom which holds autonomy over the West. Not only is it the richest kingdom in the world, but its royal capital, Ars, is also the largest city in the world. The southern region of the Central Continent is a fertile region that lies south of the Red Worm's Crying Worm mountain range and east to the lower jaw. It has numerous rivers and lakes along with large expanse of plains and dense forest regions. The plains and the forests are divided by the Dragon King mountain range, which runs vertically down the region. Though there are numerous nations in the southern continent, the majority of them in the north of the Dragon King mountain range are small and weak, and the region has been referred to as the conflict zone. Countries in this zone are built only to meet their demise shortly thereafter and be rebuilt once more. However, moving down the conflict zone, the nations are more stable and have autonomous power over an area. So, these were some important locations of the central continent. After this, we have the Demon Continent. So the Demon Continent is on the east to the Ringus Sea and is the continent where the demon race live. Monsters of every kind roam around the continent, and most of them can easily kill a strong human being. It is said that warriors go there to train, but mostly never come back. There are about 30 demon lords, and each one of them has their own territory in this continent. They are demon lords in name only though, who just act bossy. There are also demon lords who have a special unit, but actually they're just warriors with special powers and cool names. In the present time, Demon King Badigadi, Demon Empress Kishirika, and Demon King Atofe are some of the strongest and most famous demon kings in Demon Continent. Then we have the Milis Continent. In this continent, the population of the beast race is almost equal to the human race. The human settles in the West Plains while the beast race is secluded in the eastern jungles, and the main languages spoken are the human tongue and beast god tongue. In the north, there's the Great Forest. In the south, there's the Holy Milis Kingdom. Splitting those two regions is the Blue Dragon mountain range with the Holy Sword Highway going straight through them from the top to bottom with not a single monster on the highway. The Great Forest is a huge woodland that occupies the northeastern half of the continent. It is home to various races such as the Beast race that resides in the northern part of the forest, hobbits in the northwest, the dwarves in the southwest, and the elves to the southeast. Milis Continent has the holy country of Milis, which is the second oldest and most powerful kingdom after the Asura kingdom. And Milishion, the capital of the holy country of Milis, is said to be the most beautiful city in the world. The Blue Dragon mountain range is the border that separates the Great Forest and the holy country of Milis, thus effectively separating the human and beast race territory. The Holy Sword Highway passes through by a gap in the mountain that is wide enough for two carriages to pass at the same time. Rock slides almost never happen here, which is believed to be the divine power of Saint Milis, and one of the reasons Milis is worshipped very well. It is believed that the creation of the highway was from a single swing of Saint Milis' sword that sliced straight through the Blue Dragon mountain range and the Great Forest and even cut down a demon lord on the Demon Continent. And it was because of this story that the road is named Holy Sword Highway. Despite the name of the Blue Dragon mountain range in Milis Continent, blue dragons are almost never seen here since they fly all around the world, but they always return to the Blue Dragon mountain range for nesting and raising children. Then we have the Begarit Continent. The Begarit Continent is a continent in the southwest that has a large number of labyrinths, and there is a very high concentration of mana in this region. The strength of the monsters is equal to those of Demon Continent. Due to the harsh environment and the number of monsters that spawn, the continent is said to be the second most dangerous in the world after the Demon Continent. There aren't any established countries in Begarit, only towns or safe areas, and only very few people live there. Some training adventurers also come to this continent to train and hunt monsters, and many of them also end up dying. The last continent is the Divine Continent, which lies far north of the Ringus Sea. It is a small continent located in the north, and this is where the Heaven race lives. The continent sits on a 3,000-meter cliff with no proper connecting roads. Even though this is connected by a cliff with the Central Continent and Demon Continent, it is considered a separate continent because it is really hard to climb. This continent is small, but mostly it remains unexplored, and so there are no other important details about this continent. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.